Hello and welcome to Hadley Chiropractic. I'm Harry Hadley, one of the doctors of chiropractic here in Rochester, New York, and I'd like to talk to you a little bit about myself and my experience with chiropractic, and then I'd like to go into a little bit about what makes our office unique. I grew up here in Rochester, went to high school at Rochester, played lacrosse and wrestled, was very competitive in Taekwondo at Master Kim's here in Penfield, and grew up as the son of a chiropractor. My dad opened up Hadley Chiropractic in 1991 right here in White Spruce Boulevard, one of the smaller buildings, but right here where we are now. And in growing up as the son of a chiropractor meant that I grew up in a chiropractic office. My mom worked the front desk for a long time. My sister and brother and I ran around watching patients get adjusted. And so it's always been very normal for me for people to go to the chiropractor. You get bruised, banged up a little bit, you go to the chiropractor. You're not feeling too well, you're feeling a little off, you haven't been in a while, you're wondering how you're growing, you go to the chiropractor. And as I grew up, I realized that that wasn't normal for everybody. I went to college at Geneseo. That was the first time that I didn't have a bunch of friends who knew about chiropractic because most of my friends in high school went and saw my dad. And I watched them get banged up and bruised, and I watched myself get banged up and bruised because I was in Geneseo and not here under care. I had a job where I was lifting boxes all the time, big heavy boxes, and I thought I was invincible, so of course I hurt myself. And I came back after not being here for a while and got better quickly, very quickly, and my friends were commenting about how much better I got, and they started asking me about chiropractic because of it. And I realized that that's what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to convince people that what I saw growing up is normal. It is normal to go to the chiropractor when you get bruised up. It is normal to get things fixed when they get hurt. And it's not normal to wait until you've been dealing with these things for 30 years and everything's degenerated. It's much easier if you come in here right away and get things fixed. And let me show you what I'm talking about here. So one of the main reasons I was so eager to move back here to Rochester truly was the facility that we have here at Hadley Chiropractic. My dad over the past 26 years has done a phenomenal job of making sure that we have the most technologically advanced ways to analyze your spine, take digital x-rays of exactly what those bones and joints look like, and really minimize any sort of guesswork when it comes to your healthcare, because that's the goal, isn't it? We don't ever want to be guessing on what's going on with you. And I feel very confident that any patient who comes in here will be able to put up on the screen their x-rays, their scans, the tests that we've all done in-house, and show them exactly what's been causing their issues. I have patients every day telling me that they're so glad that they finally understand what's going on with their body. Nobody's been able to explain this to them, or nobody's taken the time to explain what's going on with their bodies, and that's something that we're always going to do here. That's something that we're very proud of. And coming back into an office with these true spine specialists already here, it's really let me open up my window and my niche in chiropractic as an extremity expert. That's something since I've been coming back to Rochester that people just haven't heard about. People don't realize that non-spinal conditions can also be helped through chiropractic care. Chiropractors started adjusting extremities, and what I mean by extremities, I mean shoulders, elbows, wrists, knees, hips, feet, all of that type of injuries. Chiropractors started adjusting those originally because they realized that much like a building, if it's tilted off to the side, you got to look at the foundation first. So chiropractors started looking at people's feet, adjusting their feet, which is the base for your pelvis and your spine. And in working through feet, we saw not only additional spinal stability from it, adjustments that were needed to be having a frequency of twice a week were being cut down to once every 2 weeks right away because they were getting that extra help. But we also saw a lot of things kind of really as a side effect starting to clear up when we adjusted the feet. Plantar fasciitis was clearing up, we're adjusting the wrist, carpal tunnel is clearing up. So I wouldn't say that we treat those conditions, but it sure is a nice side effect when we see those things really clear up and the spine starts stabilizing like it never has before. We have patients who've been to other chiropractors telling us that they've never seen the stuff we've doing, they've never seen the long-term benefits that they're getting here. And that's one of the advantages of having a part of the team that is dedicated to treating your spine and a part of the team that is dedicated to treating everything else, which you're not going to find anywhere else in Rochester. I'm actually the only chiropractor in Rochester with the CCEP certification and distinction. That stands for Certified Chiropractic Extremity Practitioner, which means I spent an extra year in school training specifically on extremity adjusting and care for the extremities. And by extremities, I mean shoulders, elbows, wrists, hip, knees, and feet. And I'm actually the only one in all of Western New York and the only one that north of Virginia certified in making custom orthotics to help support those foot adjustments and the spinal adjustments that we're doing that really make those last a lot longer. I'd like to go over some of the basics of what it means to come in and get checked by a chiropractor, what it is a chiropractor is looking for, and how a chiropractor would plan on fixing some of those things for you. So the very basics always break down to car analogies. So I want you to think about the tires on your car. You go in, they tell you that your tires are misaligned, and they either tell you that they've worn out or you caught it early enough and they're not worn out. That's a lot of the stuff that I'm talking to you as a chiropractor. There's the big traumas that can cause joints to be misaligned, which I'm sure you've heard chiropractors talk about before, and that's something like a car accident or a football injury when you were in high school, or you fell down on your butt when you were a little kid. And then there's also the chronic repetitive activities that can also lead up to that same type of trauma, and those are actually more common. What I'm talking about with that is I'm talking about sitting at the computer with your head held forward and your shoulders rolled in, or I'm talking about shoveling the driveway all winter long here in Rochester with poor form, or I'm talking about bending over every day to pick up your little kid with poor form. Those tiny repetitive motions can lead to that same sort of trauma and that same sort of misalignment. When you come into my office, my job is twofold. It's to find out where those misalignments exist, and it's also to figure out what caused them and how I can give you strategies to keep them from happening again. Because that's the key, right? I can fix it now, but if it's gonna pop out back in place in a couple of days, or if you're gonna go home and do that same type of stuff, that's not as valuable to you. So we really focus on finding exactly what's wrong, and then most importantly, give you strategies so you can be even better than you were before your injuries. Another thing I wanna touch on is the amount of testing, the amount of time we spend up front figuring out exactly what it is that's wrong with you really allows us to be ultra specific. And what I mean by that is I hear people all the time talking about their chiropractors racking them and cracking them, and they go in and their wife goes in and they're all getting the same thing. That's not what you're gonna get here. You're gonna be shown exactly what's wrong with you. We're gonna be able to correct it exactly specifically using a variety of different techniques. There's people who are very cautious about manual adjusting, where there's hands-on approach. I'm fine with that. That's your body. You can tell me how you want it to be handled. So what we do is we have all sorts of different tools so we can very gently adjust things. So we can range from a small impulse, no more than a little press into your palm of your hand, all the way up to the classic adjusting that you're used to. The thing that I'm most proud of here at Hadley Chiropractic, I think, is the feel you get when you walk in here. It's me, my dad, and my brother as the three chiropractors. My mom works the front desk, my wife works the front desk. My little sister and my son are here constantly running around just like we used to when we were younger. And I think that helps patients. I think that they realize that they're part of our family too. Once you start care here at Hadley Chiropractic, you're part of our family. We're gonna treat you no differently than we would anyone else in our family. And I think that shows in our care and our time we spend with our patients and the results that we get because of it. So finally, as a reward for sticking with me through this video, I'd like to make an offer to you. I'd like to make an offer to anyone in your family or someone that you love that you think might benefit from chiropractic care. If they come into Hadley Chiropractic and ask for a free initial consultation, we'd be more than happy to give them to them. What that means is you'll be able to sit down one-on-one with one of our doctors, go through some of the initial procedures, and we'll be able to tell you if we think we can help you or if we think that we need to refer you somewhere else. We're not too proud. There's cases that aren't chiropractic cases, but how do you find that out without coming in here and having us tell you? We'll be able to tell you how long we think it'll take till you get better. We'll be able to go over all that detail with you, and it won't cost you anything. So if you or anyone that you love could benefit from chiropractic care, or you're even just curious about chiropractic care, give us a call here at Hadley Chiropractic, 585-272-1480, or check out our website, hadleychiropractic.com. Thanks and have a great day.